Happy Hump Day, everyone. It is March the 24th, 2021, and before we jump right into this, I wanted to let people know that I do have a Patreon account, and I'm so close to reaching my first tier goal, so please check it out down below. There's a link in the description, and you can join my channel and my Patreon that way. And without further ado, let's jump right into this with Birds of Paradise 5th edition, starting things off up with 33.36% from $14.99 to $20, and it does see a ton of play in Commander, but also it's a card that sees play in Modern and just multiple formats in general, and it was printed in a lot of different sets. Coat of Arms, speaking of being printed a lot, Dual Decks Minds versus Might. This is up 33.36% as well from $14.99 to $19.99. Now this is a powerhouse in Commander, specifically any Commander deck that emphasizes on tribal like Krenko Mob Boss, and more recently the Sliver Overlord deck that was registered on MTG Goldfish. Mangara's Tome, a card that was on our list yesterday. This is a reserve list card from Mirage, seeing new all-time highs again from 46.70% from $14.99 to $21.99. It does see a lot of play in Commander, more recently a Chainer Dementia Master deck. Next up on the list is Cold Steel Heart from Commander Anthology Volume 2, up 47.25% from $4.72 to $6.95, and it does see a lot of play in Historic and Commander, and more recently the Jorn God of Winter deck, which is a card that was printed in Kaldheim. Illumination from Mirage, up 51.59%, seeing new all-time highs again from $6.59 to $9.99. Now this card does see a lot of play in Commander recently, more recently a Runetail Kitsun Ascendant deck, which has 2 registered decks. Juzám Djinn from Arabian Nights. This is a reserve list card from Arabian Nights, so it's no surprise to see this up on the list here today. This is at 53.45% from $2,900 to $4,450, and it's seeing a targeted buyout because it is a scarcely printed card from a scarcely printed set. Synapse Sliver Legions, up 55.91%, seeing new all-time highs from $59.65 to $93. Now this card is used in a lot of Commander decks, more recently a Sliver Overlord deck that was registered on MTG Goldfish, but it's basically a card that sees play in every sort of Sliver deck on Commander. Magnetic Mountain from Arabian Nights is up 56.55%, with new all-time highs from $24.49 to $38.34, and it does see a bit of play in a Jessica Thrice Reborn deck that is registered on MTG Goldfish, but you can find a cheaper copy if you want to throw that in there from 4th edition for about 33 cents to 40 cents on the market. Bird Maiden from Arabian Nights, up 66.78% from $5.99 to $9.99. Now this card, it's been fluctuating a lot lately. It shows up on these lists frequently, but it is a card from Arabian Nights, not the reserve list card. But nonetheless, you know, Arabian Nights is one of the 4 Horsemen sets. There's not a lot of copies on the market that are near mint, and for that reason, we are seeing it on the list again today. Vivacious Asmadi from Legends. This is up 70.82% from $61.47 to $105. Now, this was a card that we've seen show up on our list this week and last week as well, and it does see a bit of play. It does have a registered deck on MTG Goldfish that uses it as its commander because it is a legendary creature, and you can build that deck for about $455 on the market, but there is a cheaper version that you can find from Chronicles. Coat of Arms on our list again today. This is the 9th edition version, up 75.90% from $11.37 to $20. Now this is a card printed in a number of sets, and all the prices now look like they're starting to go up, and that's not a surprise as Commander is the biggest format right now, and that's where it sees most of its play in Krenko, Lathril, and even Sliver Overlord decks, because Slivers were hot recently because of Time Style Remastered. Next up on the list is Phyrexian Arena. This is the Plain Chase version of the card, up 87.28% from $20.92 to $39.18, seeing new all-time highs. This is another card that's seen a ton of reprints, so there is cheaper versions on the market, but it does see a lot of play in Commander, obviously. And more recently, the deck that uses it the most is the Tergrid God of Fright deck, and that was a card that was released recently in Kaldheim. Next up on the list is Coat of Arms again. This is the 7th edition version of the card, seeing new all-time highs. Now, this is the oldest version of the card. This is up 75.90% from $11.37 to $20. Now, obviously, this is a card that sees a ton of play in Commander, but we don't have to talk about that as much because we've already seen this card on the list show up a few times. Okay, and the next card we have is Wirewood Symbiote. This is the Dual Decks Elves versus Goblins version of the card. This is up 97.99% from $3.49 to $6.91, seeing new all-time highs. Now, it was printed in other sets as well, so you can find cheaper copies, but the reason for it going up mostly is because it sees a ton of play in Legacy Elves, but more recently, Last World Blade of Elves, which is a commander from Kaldheim. Next up is Psionic Entity, and this is the final card on the list today. This is a Legends card up 247% from $45 to $156.49. Now, there is one deck that does use it on MTG Goldfish. It is Revoca Wizard Savant, and there is a cheaper copy of this card if you want to throw that in there for about 27 cents to 39 cents on the market from 4th edition. Okay, it is time for some cheap beta cards. These are some specs that I have been thinking about recently, and I wanted to share them with you. And these are the Circle of Protection cards. Circle of Protection Blue. You can find this for under $5 on the market, between $4.59 to $7.20. Now, all of these cards are useful in Commander, which is the strongest format right now that's getting the most love from Wizards of the Coast. And I think that all these cards that I'm going to show you are worth speccing on, buying a few copies. Circle of Protection White. This is another one. And these are really iconic back in the day. People love to throw these cards out, and like you'd stop your, any sort of monocolored deck that people might use, which is pretty commonly, that does happen, pretty common, right, in Commander. And look, another one right here, Circle of Protection Black. Black is obviously a color that is utilized a lot in Commander, one of the most popular colors to have. And when you have this card on the battlefield, you can actually prevent damage from these black sources, so that's a really powerful ability in Commander. But these are iconic cards from beta. I still think they're very cheap. You can find this card for under $10 on the market. And the last one I wanted to talk about, Circle of Protection Green. Now, this is about $5.99 to $6.94 from TCG Player Markets. And you can find these cards on TCG Player, and I do have an affiliate link down below. And if you want to find these cards for cheaper, maybe light play copies, I do take a small commission from that, so it really does help the channel out. Okay, final thoughts on the market. We are seeing a ton of coat of arms, which is not a surprise. With all the hype from Slivers being reprinted again and Time Spell Remastered, coat of arms was a card, remember, that was printed in the Slivers, the Premium Deck series. So, people are like, wait, if they were printing in that, obviously it is a useful card in any sort of tribal deck. And, Slivers are already pumping each other up. You throw coat of arms on the battlefield, and you pretty much are almost unstoppable, especially if all your Slivers are indestructible because of something like Sliver Hivelord. Anyways, let me know your comments down below on the market. I'll be sure to read them. And with that being said, I do make these videos Monday to Friday, so please consider subscribing, because I'm going to see you again tomorrow for another Market Movers. And with that being said, please enjoy the rest of your day. Being a patron will help me produce more Market Movers and add to the funds that I will use for my random buys, and also to my coffee fund, because I drink a lot of coffee for these videos. And here you can see a link below in the description that will give you all the tiers and what you get in each tier. So I hope you guys click and think about joining. And with that, I'll see you next video. Think about supporting the channel in that way. If not, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I will see you again in the next video.